Hey there, and welcome. Today we're going to crack open the most personal instruction manual you could ever imagine, the one that's all about how to build and run, well, you. So let's start with a wild idea. What if, what if your entire body, everything about you, was actually built from a giant recipe book? And get this, it's not just any old book, it's a family heirloom, right? You got one half of it from your mom, the other half from your dad, and together, those two halves tell the complete story of what makes you, you. Okay, so that recipe book, it has a proper scientific name, and it's the star of the show today. So let's get right into it and introduce the genome. Simply put, your genome is your complete, entire set of DNA. It is the full collection of recipes that not only built you from scratch, but is working nonstop every single second to keep you going. Now, like any good book, it's got to be organized, right? So let's break down how this incredible recipe book is structured, from the biggest sections all the way down to the individual letters. All right, think of the chapters of your genome. These are called chromosomes. In pretty much every cell in your body, you've got 46 of these chapters, all neatly arranged in 23 pairs. You get 23 from your mom's book and 23 from your dad's. Perfect match. So inside those chapters, you find the individual recipes. We call those genes. These are the super specific instructions for building all the things your body needs, things that determine traits like, your eye color or your blood type. And we have over 20,000 of them. It's a huge cookbook. But here's where it gets kind of wild. You'd think those 20,000 genes would make up most of our DNA, right? Nope. Take a look at this. They only account for about 1 to 2% of our entire genome, just a tiny sliver. So what on earth is the other 98% doing? Well, for a long time, people kind of dismissed it, even called it junk DNA, but we now know it's anything but junk. This stuff has super important jobs, like telling the genes when to turn on and off. And honestly, we're still discovering all the cool things it does. And finally, how is this whole book written? With an alphabet of just 4 letters. These are chemical bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, or A, T, C, and G. And they have a really strict pairing rule. A always links up with T, and C always hooks up with G. That's what creates the rungs on that famous DNA ladder. Okay, so we've got the book, we've got the chapters, we've got the recipes. But how does your body actually read a recipe and, cook something up from it? Let's take a look at how a gene goes from being words on a page to a real thing. To use a recipe from the main cookbook, your body needs a messenger. It makes a temporary copy. That messenger is called RNA. And it's a lot like DNA, but with a couple of key differences. It's just a single strand, not a double one. And instead of the letter T, it uses a letter called U for uracil. Think of it like a quick photocopy of just one recipe that you can take into the kitchen. So turning that gene into a working part of you, a protein, happens in 3 main steps. First step, transcription. That's when the DNA recipe gets copied into that RNA messenger. Next is splicing, which is kind of like editing the recipe, taking out any unnecessary bits. And finally, translation. That's when the cell's machinery reads the RNA copy and actually builds the protein, piece by piece. But what happens if there's a typo in the recipe book? A little spelling mistake? Well, in genetics, we call these changes variants. And believe it or not, they're a totally normal part of the story. And this is just so important to understand. Every single one of us has these variants. They're the main reason we're all different from each other. Most of the time, they're just tiny changes that make you unique. So, a variant can have a few different results. A lot of them, as we see here, just add to human diversity or have no real effect at all. We call those benign. Some, which we call pathogenic, can actually affect our health. And then sometimes we find a variant and we're just not sure what it does yet. That's called a variant of uncertain significance, or a VUS. And check this out. This shows where these typos come from. Germline variants are the ones you inherit from your parents. They're in almost all your cells. Somatic variants are different. You acquire them during your life, so they're only in certain parts of your body. And then you've got de novo variants, which are brand new. They weren't passed down from your parents at all. So we've gone through all these details, but why does it matter? Why is understanding your own personal recipe book so incredibly important? Let's tie it all together. It really all comes down to proteins. These are the things our genetic recipes actually make. And they do, well, pretty much everything. They're the builders, the messengers, the defenders. They are absolutely vital for keeping us healthy every single day. And remember this number? Over 20,000 genes, each one a unique recipe for a specific protein. It's an unbelievably complex and beautiful library of information. So you see, this recipe book, it's so much more than just instructions. It's a history book that tells the story of your ancestors. It's a daily manual that's guiding your body right this second, and it holds some amazing clues about your future. And that really leaves us with one last big thought. We are just beginning to learn how to read this incredible book. It's already told us so much about where we all come from. The real question is, what is it going to teach us about where we're going?